Well, let's talk about all the handicappers that won yesterday, because that would be a very short video report, because the only guy that won here yesterday was Matt Rivers, who had a blank check college release, only the 30th of his 16-year career here at the sites as a charter member, and that was on Clemson, minus 27.5 points with the win over Pittsburgh. And that was it. Now, yesterday, I had another top-rated 15-dime play on Middle Tennessee State. And I mentioned at the time that I was on the same side of the game as Chris Jordan, who had only the 12th ever triple your wager college football release of his 36-year handicapping career on the same side of that game. Well, needless to say, Chris Jordan and I both went down as Middle Tennessee State could not beat UAB, even though the Blue Raiders were playing at home for the second time in a week, as they won the regular season finale against the Blazers. But in the Conference USA Championship game, they could not win that game. So Chris fell to 34-14-1 with triple your wager releases in his career after losing that contest. Now, for me, I've got to be honest with you, that is the first time since July in baseball and football and basketball, college and pro combined, that I have lost 4 straight days, which speaks volumes to my success over the past 5.5 months, my ability to remain consistently profitable, and my ability to avoid prolonged losing streaks. And that really is the bottom line. Listen, when you're gambling, the thing that you've got to avoid is peaks and valleys. Peak and valley handicappers are the ones, and gamblers at the same time, those type of things are going to absolutely devastate you bankroll-wise. You know, you can afford a little losing streaks here and there. You know, of course you want long, prolonged winning streaks, don't we all? But nobody wins every single day. But you've got to avoid those valleys, those devastating downturns that are extended for long periods. But up until yesterday, I had not lost more than 3 consecutive days. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to have a 5-day losing streak, I don't want to have a 6-day losing streak, and I don't want to have a 7-day losing streak either. But you know me, if you've been watching these videos, if you happen to be a customer as well, the one thing that I do not lack is confidence. And I am not one of those guys, one of those gamblers, one of those handicappers who, because I've lost a couple of days, I'm going to be suicidal, walking the plank, you know, worried about, oh my God, will I ever win again? Because I think one of the biggest mistakes that gamblers make, one of the biggest problems that handicappers have, is the minute they face a little adversity, they change things up. Instead of dancing with the girl that they brought, they immediately change their philosophies. They change the things that they do. It's like whenever I've hit a losing streak over the years, my wife will say, well, what are you doing differently? And my answer has always been the same. Nothing. I refuse to deviate. I think that when you deviate, when you change the way you analyze games, when you change the way you handicap games, that's when you turn little losing streaks into prolonged losing streaks. And that's when you devastate your bankrolls. So, hey, listen, I may lose today, but I don't think I am. That's really, I don't think I am. Matter of fact, I have a top-rated 15-dime best bet. I think the best game on the board is the Sunday night game between Pittsburgh and the LA Chargers, 2 teams that have each been red hot here over the past month and a half. And by the way, you can get it for half price off by using coupon code HALF. There's a sales pitch for you too. How you like that? But again, I think that when you deviate from the norm, that's when you're just asking for trouble. As for the other big play today, that would be from Tommy Brunson, the 3rd ever 200-dime release of his career. It's on an early game at 1 o'clock Eastern time. You get it for over half price off by using coupon code 200DIMER. And listen, Matt Rivers, today, the first blank check NFL release of his career goes. It's on Minnesota, New England. It's only the 23rd ever NFL blank check play he's had, again, in the 16 years that he's been at the site since I created them. My God, 16 years I've been doing this on these sites. I don't know where the time went. And he went 7-3-1 with these plays a year ago, and you get it for over half price off. It matches his winner last night on Clemson that you got for over half price off by using coupon code BLANK, BLANK. Now let's get to your complimentary plays. I've been running the Indianapolis Colts for a number of weeks now, and I'm going to come right back with them today. Now I know they did not cover last week at home against Miami, but listen, would you rather take Indianapolis, who's been hot, or would you rather go with a Jacksonville team that managed to screw up a season by riding Blake Bortles too long, that finally decided to bench Blake Bortles last week, or during the course of the past week, after they fired their offensive coordinator as well? Yeah, I'll take the Colts, who have really a good chance at making the playoffs as they continue this hot run of theirs. They've won 5 straight games. Andrew Luck, I've been riding his updating his stats on a weekly basis. First of all, he's gone 8 straight games with at least 3 touchdown passes. He's only been sacked once, and that was last week against the Dolphins. In his last 6 games, that's how good this offensive line, which has been a sore spot for the Colts in a number of recent years, has been this season for Luck. First meeting back just 3 weeks ago. As a matter of fact, I had a 15-time best bet on the Colts in that game where I bought down the half point. They jumped out to a 29-16 early lead, held on for the I think it was a 29-26 win because I bought the half point down. In the first meeting, he was 21 for 29, 285 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But in the last 8 games, Luck, 27 touchdowns, 68.4% completion rate, and a 306.3 yards per game average. Ain't too bad. You also know Leonard Fournette is suspended for this game, which means the ex-Brown Carlos Hyde, an ex-49er, come to think of it as well, is going to get most of the carries. And with Bortles being benched, that means they're going to go with Cody Kessler, who's going to be making his first start since a rookie season with the Browns back in 2016. Jacksonville's lost 7 straight games. Jacksonville's going to be down 3 starting offensive linemen since the start of the season, with guard Andrew Norwell being placed on the injured reserve list this week. So I'm going to go with the Colts and minus the points there, and I'm going to buy down the half point in this situation as well. I like the Denver Broncos minus the 4.5 points at Cincinnati. 2, 5, and 6 teams heading in opposite directions here, as the Broncos coming off the win 2 weeks ago at LA, snapping the Chargers' 6-game winning streak. Last week at home, snapping the Steelers' 6-game winning streak. Andy Dalton out for the Bengals. Jeff Driscoll making his first start. Cincinnati, listen, last week maybe the final score was competitive, at least against the Browns on the scoreboard, but they were down 35-7 in that game. Cincinnati, last in the league in terms of yards allowed at 449, right? Number 31 in pass defense, giving up nearly 68% to opposing quarterbacks this season, and 25 touchdown passes. Their secondary has been scorched for this year. They've only come up with 11 interceptions. Number 31 in run defense, giving up 4.7 yards per carry. Number 32 in total defense, dead last in the league, giving up 31.5 points per game, 439.5 yards per game as well. Driscoll is a mobile quarterback, but the offensive line for the Bengals has been beaten up and injury-riddled all season long. Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, I think they're going to make Driscoll's life miserable today in his first pro start. That's why I'm willing to lay the points with Denver. And again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy down the half point in this spot with Denver. I've got to lay the 10 points with the Rams. Why not? Rams coming off a bye. They're 8-2-1 against the spread their last 11 weeks, coming off a bye. Idle since that Monday night win, which I had the Rams buying down the half point against Kansas City in that 54-51 thriller. Remember the added significance for this game. With the Saints losing on Thursday against Dallas, at Dallas. Now, Saints 10-2, Rams 10-1, back in the driver's seat for the home field advantage for the NFC playoffs. Huge, huge game. Matthew Stafford sacked 32 times already this season. Say hello to Aaron Donald today, who leads the NFL in sacks with 14.5. Matthew Stafford also losing one offensive weapon after another. First they trade Golden Tate. Now he's lost his second best receiver and best remaining receiver in Marvin Jones, who was put on the injured list earlier this week. Kerryon Johnson, his best running back, he's going to miss his second straight game because of a knee injury. You know, both of these teams allow almost 26 points a game. Difference is the Rams average 35.4 points a game and the Lions only average 21.6. You can do the quick math. That is almost a 14-point differential. The line is sitting at 10. Yeah, I will take the Rams here. I think also rested Todd Gurley, averaging 400 yards per game, will be able to have a big game against the Lions run defense that is giving up 4.7 yards per carry. So I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. So those are your 3 early game releases. Again, I love the Rams. They would probably be my favorite of the 3 plays. Colts would be number 2. No, I'll tell you what. I would go with Denver as number 2 and the Colts as number 3. On the late card, I would lean toward Tennessee minus the 9.5 points against the New York Jets. Let me think. The last time I won a game backing the Tennessee Titans, many years ago. But the Jets team has lost 5 straight on the field and against the spread, averaging only 11.2 points in that stretch. I mean, it would be easy to jump on Seattle as well against San Francisco at home. Let me think about the last time I won a game involving the Seahawks. Yeah. There's an interesting teaser for you. There's an interesting teaser, come to think of it. And it's perfect numbers to tease. Tennessee is a 9.5 to 10-point favorite. Seattle is a 10-point favorite as well. 2-team, 7-point teaser, taking both of those teams down to a field goal situation, saying, hey, you only got to win by a field goal or more. Worst case scenario, you're walking away with a push in one of those teasers, and nothing ventured, nothing gained. So there's a teaser for you. I would go ahead and I would absolutely tease those 2 teams, Tennessee and Seattle on that one. Seattle, of course, returning home from that 30-27 comeback win at Carolina. Russell Wilson, last 9 games, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. In the Charlotte game against a good Panthers defense, 339 yards, 22 for 31, 2 touchdowns. The thing in that Carolina game, which is kind of surprising, is that the running game, which has been averaging 147.1 yards a game, number 1 most productive ground attack in the NFL. Against Carolina, they only managed like 75 yards. They had come into that game, previous 7 games, averaging about 155. San Francisco, on paper, the run defense has been very good this season, but injuries have left them shorthanded. Of course, the expulsion of Reuben Foster has hurt them even more. San Francisco is coming off a lackluster 27-9 loss at Tampa, a Tampa team that plays absolutely no defense. Nick Mullins has come back to earth in his 3rd straight start. This one against the the Devil Rays, against the Buccaneers, 18 for 32, 221 yards. And for the 2nd straight game, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions since that 3-touchdown, no interception effort in his debut in that Thursday nighter against the miserable Raiders. Seattle has owned the series with 8 straight wins, going 7-1 against the spread in that stretch. And again, Tennessee, in a must-win situation, had been playing so well, but now coming off consecutive losses. But this has been a one-sided series where Tennessee has dominated here. Tennessee's also played very well at home. They've won 6 of their last 7, or covered 6 of their last 7 at home. 12-2-2 against the spread in their last 16 overall, playing in Nashville. So again, Tennessee and San Francisco, 2-team, 7-point teaser in this particular case, because you want to bring both of these games down to a field goal rather than a 2-team, 6-point teaser, 7 points in this particular case. That'll do it. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again on Monday when we do this again. Good luck, everybody.